Now this draft's a little bit better than last year's draft, but there's no guarantee that you're going to draft a guy who plays for you. Next time, next year when you're in the playoffs, like he might be sitting right next to Reed Sheppard and Cam Whitmore.
How far down the order would they have to be before you would consider trading the pick? Like right now, the dream is Cooper Flagg. If you get Cooper Flagg, you're like, yep, keeping it. Got a generational player. Utah fans will be punching the air because we know that's the perfect fit for them. They can put him with Markkanen and Kessler, and it'll be a dream come true for all the Jazz fans. Keontae George beat it. But if you are not getting Cooper Flagg as the Rockets, how far do you have to be down before you put that pick in a trade? Do you fan of Ace Bailey? Do you know any of the other guys in the draft beyond Cooper Flagg? Because right now on SI, just one mock draft, at 9, the Rockets would be taking Con Knippel, the Duke swingman shooter that had, and they need one, a bigger version of Reed Sheppard. As far as shooting concerned, Reed would be classified likely as a better defender. But you get size and you get a shooter. Is that, if you think Con Knippel's going to be there at 9, is that enough to dissuade you from using this year's pick, which is the Suns pick, in a trade? I'm trying to work it out in my head. If you're only at 9, or maybe you're at 6 or 7, that's still a high lottery pick, but you decide, you know what, put him in a trade because that's going to be how we secure a player without giving up one of our current players. And then it becomes a conversation about who that player is, which we're always default to Kevin Durant. But I don't know who it'll be because I think this year in the NBA, because of the lack of money in free agency, I think trades are going to be a big deal. And the Rockets are going to have a lot of assets to acquire one. So if the miracle doesn't happen and you don't get Cooper Flagg, is the pick on the table, or is Ace Bailey, Cooper Flagg, and then anyone else we can consider trading?
I mean, for me, the pick has to be on the table. I mean, we had basically the same situation last year happen, where the Rockets shoot up the lottery to number 3, so they don't get number 1. And now last year didn't have like a Cooper Flagg or no doubt about it, first number 1 pick kind of guy. But we saw it last year where they got lottery luck. They picked Reed Sheppard, number 3 overall, and you see what the immediate help to the lineup is. Reed Sheppard, not that guy.
No.
Just didn't have an immediate impact. So I think it really says, like, are you looking for an immediate impact guy? Because to me, unless you win the lottery and you're getting Cooper Flagg, now this draft's a little bit better than last year's draft, but there's no guarantee that you're going to draft a guy who plays for you. Next time, next year when you're in the playoffs, like he might be sitting right next to Reed Sheppard and Cam Whitmore. Or those guys might be playing now, but the same point stands that number 9, Con Knippel, like, chances are if the Rockets draft him, he's not going to play in the playoffs or in games that really matter for Ime Udoka.
Yeah, he's a big-time shooter, 6'7", wing, 40% from 3, over 40% from 3. But, as you said, is Ime Udoka running out a 19-year-old in a playoff series?
And not just like any of these guys, like Derek Queen.
Yeah, it doesn't have to just be him.
Yeah, is in that range. Jace Richardson from Michigan State. You have the South Carolina big man Colin Murray Boyles. So like, there's a lot of different guys who you think are different types of players, not just like the white shooter type, so you can't play defense. Like, no, does he trust any of these guys? Would Ime Udoka trust any of the guys in a series that matters? Just from what I've seen, chances are they'll have to earn it.
And Knippel plays a position where they're strong at. They got wings for days, so it's not like he has an easy way into that rotation, even with his shooting, because that was the assumption for Reed Sheppard. He can shoot. He was a pretty good defender in college. Of course, none of that really translated, partly because he didn't get the chance. At least we didn't get the chance to see him
Yeah, it was
very
all
much
so
on the
small
field. Yeah,
sample size.
yeah, he would start a game and he would be great, and people would be like, "See, that's what we're talking about." And then when the Rockets are healthy, he wouldn't get minutes.
Yeah, or if he plays, when the game's already decided,
that doesn't really
he just
mean anything.
Oh wow, he's smoking a Phoenix Suns team that quit 2 weeks ago. Like there's not a lot you can read into the ups or the downs with Reed Sheppard in my mind. But I mean, I'm just looking at these guys. Malawak, the Duke center. I mean, that's the guy who had 0 rebounds against U of H. Not sure if Ime Udoka is going to love the 7-2 guy who played 40 minutes of a college basketball game and didn't get a rebound.
And it's funny because we are putting Ime in a position where he wouldn't want to play these guys. But his most recent comments on this were he is locked in on the development of his young players, while the ownership group, namely Patrick Fertitta, was the one who was leaving it open for, we love these guys. We want internal growth, but we're always going to be open for a trade. So, but to your point, once the regular season begins and the postseason begins, and we have evidence that shows he's not going to lean on the young guys, unless the ones he's just forced to play because they're all pretty much young. But some guys are clearly guys who are going to play. Like Amin made it a point to show that, hey, you can't keep me off the floor. But there are only 8 guys he's willing to play in a playoff rotation, and we're consistently focusing on the playoffs now, which is funny because now the Rockets are a team we stopped talking about regular season success. I guess it's all about how far they can go in the playoffs. That's why all the conversations are about acquiring the go-to guy. But I would agree with you, unless you hop into that top 4 and one of those prospects beyond Cooper Flagg catches their eye and says, we can't pass up on him, I think that pick, 5 through wherever, because we're doing the positive spin, they could fall below 9, right? If some team jumps ahead of them.
Could jump.
Yeah, they could jump ahead of them.
It's literally less likely, but it could happen. At least one team jumps ahead of them.
Yeah, it happens. So if they fall, I think it makes it even more likely. That pick is likely. I won't say likely, but the pick could be a player that's for someone else when they consummate a trade. So many options for them. They've done a good job of acquiring assets. And now, is this the year they cash in, or we wait and see? That is some people's want. That let's give it another year. Hell, I referenced a Lazy J call. He said Jalen Green is someone we're giving up on too easily. I don't think giving up on is the right way to put it. It's just, is he someone that you can get improvement on? And if he needs to be moved to make that happen, are the Rockets willing to do it? So we will continue to look at that storyline as we continue, because next week we will have the draft lottery. Then we will know where the Rockets pick is and how valuable it actually is. It's funny. The fantasy is Cooper Flagg, and you could be picking 11th, and then you're having a different conversation.
Yeah, and then it's like, who cares about this guy?
Yeah,
that is, it's funny, but that is life in the NBA draft, where you get the number 1 pick and you're, oh my God, we got a guy who's going to change the franchise. I mean, you can even go like some drafts, once you get to 5, it's like, all right, well, got to pick somebody. Let's pick this international guy who's kind of a dart throw. So that it's just how the draft works. I mean, 2019 draft comes to mind, where it's like Zion, Ja Morant, then it's like RJ Barrett, DeAndre Hunter. Like you get really fast into the Jackson Hayes has some tools parts of the draft. I think he was like the 7th pick in the draft. So it is weird, especially talking about the NFL draft for months. At 25, there's all these intriguing players, and even in the second round, you can fantasize about this guy. And in the NBA draft, it's like, man,
you can
what are we doing with this guy?
Yeah, you can talk yourself
Malawak.
out of it.
All right.
When you're the Rockets and you have championship aspirations, in some ways you can talk yourself out, at least the fans can, talk yourself out of a guy pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Is this guy going to play for us? Is that guy going to play for us?
It's even less about like championship aspirations. It is just like, this is a team that has a bunch of young players. Prove to me that this guy is going to work his way up the ranks to take playing time from all these other young players that have been developed by Ime Udoka. it's hard to see. It's hard to see that happen, especially because we did it last year with Reed Sheppard, and in the regular season, he didn't get regular minutes. Never mind playoffs. He got sent to the G League just to like have him get some run.
Yeah, if the
out
Rockets
there.
remain where they are or in that area, 7 through 11, whatever it is, if I'm a young player, I was like, don't draft me because I don't think I'm playing for you guys.
Do you think Cooper Flagg's gonna fist pump like Victor Wembanyama did when the Rockets logo shows up at number 9? He just go,
I think that
Washington Wizards, here I come.
I think that particular viewpoint of the Rockets has changed. I don't believe a fist pump is going to happen if he sees the Rockets aren't in contention. He probably doesn't, considering the odds, doesn't think they're in contention right now. The question will be is if he sees the Wizards off the board, he's like, yes. We'll see. Maybe he doesn't want to spend any time in Salt Lake.
I know we've kind of put it on him that he wants to. I don't know why.
We don't know that he does. He's from Maine, right? But that doesn't mean he wants to be in Salt Lake.
Yeah, he's like, that's far from home.
Yeah, I'd rather
stay local. Can Philly win this?
Can the
the
Celtics?
Nets?
The Celtics are trying to cut salary. Can they trade for a lottery pick and win the lottery?